I remember seeing the flash and seeing the smoke come in. And you can see it on the room footage too.
Warning. Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
One day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew. Man, you do something about it, because you can.
This story is brought to us from NBC News. And I don't know if anything surprises me anymore when it comes to cops. Because the mayor of Elyria, that's Elyria, Ohio, is that how you pronounce it? Elyria, Ohio, has ordered a probe after a woman who lives at a home accused police of raiding the wrong house, an incident which left her baby with severe burns.
As Elyria police get set to raid this home on Parmalee, they realize there is a camera.
Police, third floor, come to the door! Police, third floor, come to the door!
Then a flashbang. You hear the screaming, and the video goes dark. What they didn't see was this camera next door. And for this, Courtney Price is grateful.
You can hear in the video, you can hear me scream. I think I just said, I'm scared. I said, my baby's in here. He's on a ventilator.
An Ohio toddler was sent to the hospital with burns and struggling to breathe after police raided what may have been the wrong address. And they used flashbang devices. Boom! And all the smoke goes everywhere. And that's according to the boy's mother, who shared doorbell footage that contradicts, did you hear me? The police account. Her door ring video contradicts the police account. Imagine that video contradicting what the police report. And I know some people will say, well, that's their perception of what happened. Yeah, I get sometimes maybe perception can be different or vantage point can be different, what have you. But like Tyre Nichols, the Memphis PD, when things are just simply completely contradiction, I mean, it's like, dude, like if I walk up and punch you in the jaw, I'm a cop, and then I say, yeah, I tried to grab him and my hand, swiped against his chin. That's not a perception or a vantage point. I guess what I'm saying, and I'm not saying it very well, is sometimes these contradictions in police reports that don't match these videos, it's not a perception. It's not, well, that was their viewpoint of what happened. Or they just don't want to tell the truth. And the reason I said all of that, I took the long route to get there, is to say video will always bring the truth. Video will always tell what happened. And at the risk of criticism, I'm going to say it anyway. This camera right here, this thing, it don't lie. Because it doesn't have a mind, or it can't analyze anything. You hit record and that's what it does. It just captures what's going on. I guess what I'm saying, when you get pulled over by the police, hit record on your phone. Well, the police ain't gonna let you sit there and record. Tell them, hey, don't turn that off. I'm recording from my records. So if they do turn it off, you have captured audio of you saying, don't turn it off. That's for my records. It could be used in court. Why did they turn it off? You get a good defense lawyer. So Courtney Price, I know I said a lot to really get here. Courtney Price says audio from her Ring camera captures police acknowledging that they had the wrong address.
A warrant for a teen was issued for this home, but he hasn't lived here in over a year. The home is now rented by Rita and Marlon Jennings, Courtney's aunt and uncle, who have no relation to the suspect. But they raid the home anyway.
I walk in my house and I couldn't believe it. I don't like anything being on my kitchen table, so you can imagine everything piled up on the floor. And just everything was overturned, the beds, the TVs.
In a clip shared exclusively with NBC News, someone can be heard saying, it's the wrong house. It's not clear who made the remark because the camera fell to the ground and went dark after police deployed the flashbang devices. I wonder if they put one right under the camera. Police in Elyria, I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, have offered a conflicting account of what happened on January 10th of this year, saying in a statement that they had executed a search warrant at the correct address and that the child did not sustain any apparent visible injuries.
Courtney is at Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital with 17-month-old son Waylon, who was born premature and he has special needs. His crib at the home has a ventilator and oxygen. They were nearby as he sat in this rocker. This as smoke filled the home and Courtney was handcuffed as she kept asking for her baby.
However, the mayor, Kevin A. Brubaker, called the incident serious and disturbing, announcing a complete review of the incident. Now, it tells you about the raid itself. If you want to read it, the link is in the description box. But they do talk about the raid here. And Price says, after we were put on the ambulance, the police were still here. And then another family member pulled up as I was leaving, and that's who they told that they had the wrong house to. So apparently they said to a family member, we got the wrong house. That's according to her, though. Now, she learned that the police have visited the home at least 5 times within the past year. The landlord even told the police there were new tenants. So basically, it's what it's come to. After I was reviewing this story, I did read through this thing. They had the right address, but the people they were looking for had already moved out. So they had the right address, but the wrong house. What does that mean? The people they were looking for had already moved out. They were gone, like Dawn. And the landlord had said to the cops, hey, there's new tenants in here. These ain't the people you're looking for. Oh, so the address. We got the address. So we're going in, man. Because this is the address. Even though new people lived in there.
I'm just trying to tough it out and stay for better care, but I just did not like being here now.
I mean, if the landlord tells you it's new tenants, wouldn't you go, hold on a minute, really? No, we have the search warrant, we're going in. I don't know. I don't want to be too cynical here, using all these big words. And she talks about the raid and how they were banging on the door. She said, I froze at the top of the steps. I kept saying, I'm scared. My baby's in here. He's on a ventilator. Then I came down the steps and they put me in handcuffs. From on the steps, she could see a flash at the window and smoke come through. Now, Waylon, who's the baby, was born premature and has pulmonary hypertension, a severe lung disease, and an atrial septal defect, which is a hole in the heart. He was in his swing on the floor by the window. Glass got on him when the windows blew out. Police took her outside and later brought her back in to check on the baby. Did they check on the baby? I don't get this. The body cam shows Price telling police and paramedics that the baby seemed mostly fine but was concerned about his breathing. Said, I mean, just breathing isn't normal. Like, he's okay, she tells the officer. In a statement, Elyria police said the woman told officers that her baby had a pre-existing medical condition, and detectives and paramedics assessed the child, confirming the child did not sustain any apparent visible injuries.
The child is now being treated for inflammation of the lungs, and his eyes also suffered irritation too. Price says doctors say the smoke affected the child, and she's only in the area because her baby needs heart surgery, and now that has been delayed.
We came here for a fresh start, and now I gotta feel so unsafe here.
Early the next morning, Price said Waylon quit breathing. She adjusted his ventilator, but it didn't improve. She called 911. They were taken to a hospital and transferred to the UH Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. There, they were told they needed 6 more liters of oxygen. His ventilator needed turned up. He had chemical pneumonitis. Is that how you say it? Which is inflammation of the lungs and irritation of the lungs. And he had a chemical reaction and in and around his eyes. So basically, he had a chemical reaction around his eyes. He had irritation in his lungs. In an online fundraiser to support his medical bills, Price wrote, "The negligence from the Elyria Police Department caused my baby to have burned eyes, a burned chest, a burned arm, and a burned neck." Now he's improving, she said, but the ordeal is heartbreaking. She said, "We moved up here for a fresh start. A lot of families here. I just had a baby and I'm a single mom. My son has just worked so hard for his whole life to get where he's at, and extra trauma and extra setbacks. There's just no reason this should happen." The police are maintaining the child was not harmed during the operation. They're saying any allegations suggesting the child was exposed to chemical agents, a lack of medical attention, or negligence is not true. Well, how did he get the burns then? Was it like a rash? And a doctor said pneumonitis, remember? But the Lorain County Sheriff's Office is beginning an investigation into the process to obtain the search warrant as well as the incident itself. So the Sheriff's Office is going to investigate the police department to see if there was any wrongdoing. Yeah. So the Fox is going to investigate in the hen house. Or something like that, right? I don't know. But, here's another one where they were told, hey, there's new tenants in here. These probably aren't the people you're looking for. It's a correct address. We're going in. And this poor baby victim, he didn't do nothing. Mom didn't do nothing. She handcuffed, put in the car. Like, what the hell? Is this how we get greeted to our new city?
As for Jennings, she only wishes police would have done their homework before crashing into her home where her nephew is already fighting for his life.
I feel like a little bit of detective work probably would have went a long way, because a simple Google search and I found the previous tenants in about 6 seconds.